Go ahead and take a seat, and we'll start a little bit early for the business meeting. Thanks, everyone. To start the meeting, I would first like to recognize these two physicians who passed away this year, Dr. Jack Pickelman and Dr. Tom Cogbill, both giants in the field of general surgery and members of the Western Surgical. Dr. Pickelman was a past president, I think in 1997. Just a moment of silence for these two men. Thank you. If anybody had an opportunity to review the minutes that were distributed earlier, I'd like to have a move to approve. In a second? Second? Anyone opposed? Great, so minutes are approved. This is a distribution of the number of meeting people in attendance for this meeting. A little bit disappointing low number here, I think, as people could feel looking around the audience today. Obviously, last year we had really a great year coming off of COVID for a couple of years. We're going to be looking into why the numbers are down. I think there might be a couple of issues. It was obviously very close to the American College of Surgeons. I think there's but we're going to do some investigations and make sure that we're not missing other people. There's a fair number of people that had other conflicts that are typically here that couldn't be here this time, and coming to Southern California twice in 2 years may be an issue. But we're very hopeful. Next year, the meeting is going to be at the Broadmoor in Colorado Springs, and I encourage everybody to attend and to call their friends to make sure they come as well. It's going to be a phenomenal meeting. Anybody have comments about this? Any other suggestions or ideas? Yes, Sherry.
I'm going to say this is something I'm really worried about with, I think our societies that have all the different specialties and all of us getting in the same room are really important. But in these really stressful times with people's time and money being unbelievably more and more closely regulated, I really worry about the health of our regional societies because, you know, if you're a vascular surgeon, you're going to go to SVS. If you're a breast surgeon, you're going to go SBMS and everything. And I think the value of this is unbelievable. How we make sure that we continue to see this be vibrant, I think is a real challenge. I think it'd be really interesting to get the leadership of the regional societies together because I think we're seeing it, you know, there's Pacific Coast, there's this. It's an interesting thing. Time, money, and specialty is our enemy right now, and younger surgeons, do they want, you know, getting them involved in everything. So I don't know. I think there'd be an interesting leadership discussion that we should all have about this. I really am concerned.
Yeah, we had this discussion at the council, and I think you're right on point. Other regional meetings, unfortunately, I think are suffering the same way. And there's a huge value. This is just a phenomenal meeting with great science and great people. And I think we have a real opportunity to excite people to come here and potentially reach out to more surgeons who live in the area where the meeting is being held. I mean, we're in LA. There's lots and lots of healthcare systems around here that we could reach out to. So lots of ideas. And I think it's a great thought to get the other regional leaders together to see if we can come up with a different kind of solution. Yeah, Dan.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, it is a concerning. I think the people that come to the meeting tend to be the people that come to the meeting, and I think one thing that is difficult is to get the younger generation involved. I know we've done some of that, but don't have the answer. But I think, you know, if anyone can think through what might be attractive to younger surgeons, explaining the value of this, but see what they're interested in as well, get their input. And because that's the lifeline of our, society, to have it continue and somehow come forward with some ideas from them, be useful. Thank you.
Yes, Jerry?
No real suggestion other than the observation that there are a number of regional general surgery societies, Northeastern, Midwestern, Pacific Coast. I mean, there's quite a number, and there may be some information or learning to get from the leadership of each of those meetings about how they're combating this problem, because I'm pretty sure it's universal. It's the cost of meetings, it's the inability to take time away, it's difficulty in finding venues that are a balance between expensive and nice and providing the resources. So it's a real challenge for regional meetings, but it's a lot of regional meetings. Maybe as a combined group, there's some way to gain some insight into how to approach it.
I think it's a great idea. I know the Midwest Surgical and the Central Surgical are going back and forth about combining more to see if there's an issue. So that might be something to talk about, but I think we have to do something. You're right. Nathalie?
So one of the things that we thought about for North Pacific Surgical Association was to offer a candidate membership to any of the residents or fellows that come to the meeting and present. And so then get them involved with just, if they're a candidate member, then they get some of the emails and different things that are going on with the society, and hopefully maybe a more sticky connection so that as they mature in their surgical career, they may go on to become members.
Yeah, I think it's a really great idea. And we talked about that as well at the council, as we have for a few years. And maybe it's time to actually really pursue that further.
I think if you look back at the numbers where you see attendance above 250, I think it's also linked to the aggressiveness with which we recruit new members, right? And so I think a lot of there's many chairs, division chiefs, section heads in this room, in this organization, and I think that relentless positivity about the organization itself, the benefits of being in the Western Surgical, and then recruiting your new faculty and getting them to sign up for being new members, and again encouraging them to come to the meeting the year they're inducted. I think those are things that we cannot be passive about, and we should never take that for granted.
Actually, you'll hear this during this meeting that we have a much better recruitment for next year for new members. But I think that's a really good point. And we've asked LP to be very aggressive this coming year for reaching out to new members and their sponsors to make sure that they come to the meeting during their first year. I think that's a great idea. And the other thing that we talked about is sort of leading to the next point is to donate to the foundation, because we have a lot of opportunity. We have the Oust Award, which is it's a great award for new members to present their work and to have this great recognition. But we would like to do more than that. And if we had more support for the foundation, we probably could have an opportunity to have a resident award as well. And so I would encourage everybody to consider donating to the foundation with this QR code. It'll give you a direct link to the website where you can donate. And there's also a QR code up front. So hopefully those two initiatives would be something that we can attract more young people. But obviously, that's the lifeblood of who we are. So, and any other suggestions anybody has, please reach out to either myself or to Jill and Margie and let us know what your thoughts are, because we really have to make this a strong initiative going forward. Thanks. Any other comments on that? One more reminder, the reception, dinner and dance starts at 7. The reception is at 7 just outside here in the foyer. And then the dinner dance is next door. You could hear them setting up. That was that music you heard, Tyler, the band probably warming up. They're setting up next door. That's where the dinner dance is going to be. It says 7:30 in the original program that went out, but it's actually 7 for the reception. And then I'll pass it on to Dr. Schmidt.
Thank you, Margot.
So just a slide to look at our membership dues. We're essentially at the same level we were in 2022 at this time, 63,000 in dues. collected. The CME deadline for the meeting for this year is December 2nd, so keep an eye on your emails for details. The CME is our accrediting company, isn't the American College of Surgeons, but it does link with your American Board of Surgery number directly, so that you know, when you claim your CME, it'll be directly credited. So be on the lookout for the email. I think that's it. Yep. I'm sorry, I didn't hear the question, Sherry. Go to a mic there.
Maybe, is it just a California thing, or is everybody? We have another 12 hours of CME for pain. Is it just California? No. It's everybody. Is there any way that some of this CME could be accredited to pain? Because that would help remove the pain of getting the CME by the end of the year.
Yeah, Arizona has an 8-hour requirement, so a couple hours less. There's a couple sources we found, and that anybody can access. One is SAGES, has a relatively straightforward, and it doesn't take 12 hours to go through it to get the CME at that hour level. And Mayo Clinic, I'll have nothing to do with it, of course, but Mayo Clinic also has a CME. It's like $25 that you can do an audio book. And get the credits that way, up to 8 hours of credit there too, if anyone needs to do that. I just sat through it, and I sat through the audio book in about an hour. So it's not hour for hour credit.
Can I just, if you don't mind, just asking a question. I was just trying to fill up that form right now, just serious. It is so damn long. It's actually painfully long. Does this help you to become a better healthcare provider? I mean, we are surgeons. It has nothing to do with surgery there. Whoever picked this one, I don't know. Could you help change that?
And it is worth pointing out, I think we talked about at the council meeting, that their CME deposit is different. It's a different company. It used to go through the American College of Surgeons, and it's now a different company. So there may be a little bit different requirement, but it's also saving us a significant amount of money. No, the American Board of Surgery now requires all CME directly deposited at the American Board of Surgery. So we had to find some way of doing that. Tyler, do you want to say anything about that?
Speaking for the college, now what you're doing today, you'd have to list on the MyCME page independently if it's not through the ACS. But if you're going to other meetings, the ACS is the certifying body. We have a mechanism where it transfers to the board. Also, it was a little painful to go through, but it's now established.
I was under the impression that changed, Tyler, that the American Board of Surgery is requiring it all to be directly deposited to the board.
The ACS has an arrangement with the transferring company so that if it's in your MyCME, it will be transferred to the American Board. You might have to put in your ABS number to transfer. I can't remember the specifics of it. Yeah. Yeah, there was a little gap period where, and I think it was in the spring of this year, that if you didn't transfer before that date, your old CME between 2019 and 2022 could go away and not be reported. But after that date, any additional CME you put in is transferable.
Okay. So they're the CME reporting agent. Okay, we'll get on with the Treasury report. It's good news. We remain stable. We've already deposited money for the 2024 meeting in Colorado Springs at the Um, uh, I don't, do we have dates for that? Have we announced that? Oh, okay. Majority of the food and beverages have already been paid for this meeting. If you remember, this meeting was delayed due to COVID, so there were deposits and additional payments made, so that our numbers on the next page may look a little bit different, but because of this already being paid off, we do have some investments that are recovering, and we'll take a look at that in a minute too. So the middle column is our actual revenue from January through September. On the left is the 2024 budget, I think, if you were looking at it, and on the right is the 2023 budget. 24 budget looked very similar. The numbers in the middle look a little behind because there are some numbers that have been received between September 30th and now that are not accounted for there. And also because our meeting attendance is a little down, those numbers are a little behind as well. The foundation, that's the WSAF Foundation, is what we would like to emphasize your donations going to. I think there's some opportunities for us to provide some additional incentive for getting residents, junior faculty members, maybe some scholarship or travel money if we can build those funds up. And we've been talking about some programs with that as well as with our investment fund.
And can I just add that we're on track to have every member of the council donate to the foundation to set the groundwork for that.
So you can see the green line down on the bottom. We expect to be positive by the end of this fiscal year. And that's my report. Took the foundation or the other investment out.
Dan Margulies without it.
Thank you. So my committee and I thoroughly and diligently went through all of the records and financial statements, and I'm pleased to report that we found no discrepancies or unusual activity. And in fact, I was also pleased to find there were no overdraft fees charged. So congratulations, the audit committee accepts the report.
That means Dr. Maduro was signing the checks quickly. So thanks, James. Recorder, Dr. Scoggins.
We had a good year last year for publications. We had 31 papers submitted to JACS, and we had a total of 18 accepted for a robust acceptance rate of 58%. That is 3 times the rate of acceptance if you just told submit to the journal. So this is an important aspect of what we do. When you have your folks submit their papers to be presented here, they got 3 times the chance of being published in JACS than they do if it's just cold submitted. I think that's a message we need to drive home to our people so that the membership continues to submit good quality work. The other thing it represents really, not only is it good quality work being submitted, but it's the hard work that you put in to give robust discussions that allows the authors to then incorporate suggestions, and also the blinded reviewers that submit reviewers to the authors. Those are extremely helpful, and I do believe that those efforts that you put in increase the strength of the paper so that we continue to have north of a 50% acceptance rate. I'd like to give a hearty thank you to everyone who served as a manuscript reviewer last year. We will continue to need reviewers each and every year, and we need volunteers. So if we need folks to volunteer to serve as not only a manuscript reviewer, but as an invited discussant. Thank you very much for your efforts. Well, there you go. Volunteers are needed. Please let us know that you're volunteering and you're going to actually show up to the meeting. That'd be wonderful.
Dr. Jacob, this has been a phenomenal program so far, so thank you for your efforts.
Oh, yeah, it was a team effort. Thank you. So we can advance the slide. So these are the abstract submissions. Relatively steady, I think, despite the dip in attendance. And next slide. So really proud of the diversity of the presentations. So 41 institutions represented. And you can see the breakdown there. So you can see the number of presentations and the number of institutions. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Nelson.
Can I do it from here? Fine. All right, so over the course of this year, this is actually very apt to talk about attendance to the meeting. And so the membership committee over this year have really been trying to focus on recruiting members and how does this move? And so this is just a breakdown of our membership, and we have a total of 675 members. As you can see, we have more senior members than active members. This was a conversation that we had over the course of last year to try to see how we can actually have a deeper dive in seeing which group of members are actually coming to the meeting. And that's the only way we can possibly intervene. You can see that the top 5 states with active members, including California, of course, and general surgery is the top specialty that our members belong to. So this is our goal was to recruit 20 members this year. We were very aggressive, and we ended up recruiting 24 total. It's a big thank you to every committee members and a lot of members in this audience who actually, this was a collective effort, and we're so glad we're able to actually, you're going to see a really diverse group of members from different specialties and different backgrounds. And so now we're going to welcome new members that are in the audience. So we didn't have all of our members, new members here, but I'm going to start by calling Dr. Jamie Coleman. Jamie? So hold your applause to the end, please. And then Dr. David Etzioni. Dr. Fareed Kedi. Dr. Celia Ledet. And Dr. Kara Liebert. Dr. Louise McNody. And Dr. David Santos. And Dr. Nicholas Sheets. So why don't we give a huge round of applause to our new members. And and more importantly, encourage them to attend every single meeting and bring other people too.
Can you turn the slides off for a second?
All right, this is the last slide. These are all the new members. Please look through those. If there's somebody you really don't like, no, I'm just kidding. So we're going to vote on these new members. I'm going to give you guys maybe another 30 seconds to look through that. Again, this is a huge collective effort on everybody. I want to thank the special institutions that really pushed to get the members in and pretty much seeing the value of Western Surgical. So by show of hand, if you vote for these members, please raise your hand. Anybody opposed? No, not me. All right, thank you. So these members will be inducted next year. Thank you.
Thank you. Great work for everybody on the membership committee. Really appreciate it. And Randy, for the Board of Governors.
There's an extra little stand here for us vertically challenged people, so I like that. Being accessible. So I'm honored to represent the Western Surgical Association as a ACS Board of Governors member. And I just wanted to give you an update on some of the pertinent things that are going on at the college that we're working on. So in the advocacy pillar, there's several initiatives that they're pushing. One important one is supporting Senate Bill 220 and HR 731. This would remove non-compete agreements. There were some recent SCOTUS finding, but it didn't affect healthcare. So this one would specifically help us. The next thing is the Medicare Economic Index inflationary update. The name of that is Strengthening Medicare for Patients and Providers, HR 2474, to improve our reimbursement. Also, the Trauma Kits Save Lives Act, which is to fund the Stop the Bleed initiative. And then the last two are for preventative screening for colon cancer, as well as for breast cancer. For instance, in breast cancer, the screenings will be paid for, but if there's diagnostic studies, those are currently still requiring some offset by the patient. And so these acts would decrease the patient or remove the patient side of the payment. In terms of the communication pillar, the ACS website has been updated and has a new individualized dashboard. You can go on and update your profile, and then you'll start seeing on your landing page sort of more customized information to your specialty and your interests. And they've put a lot of work into updating that, so I encourage everybody to log on and update their profile there. The Physician Competency and Health Work Group has several initiatives they're working on. They're making a statement on the aging surgeon, infertility and pregnancy with regard to trainees and surgeons. There's a social and emotional support group for surgeons. It's called the Colleague Connection Program. It offers peer support for rural and really all general surgeons. have a statement on professionalism and also working quite a bit on ergonomics. And there's also a telehealth primer that's been published to integrate to address how to integrate this into practice and also training. So how do you train your trainees to integrate telehealth into our practices? And the goal is really to just improve access to care. And finally, the best practice work group, which is what I'm specifically a part of, has the top 3 initiative. So we're working with several different organizations and specialty organizations, as well as journals, to get every year their top 3 articles that would be practice changing. Basically summarize those in a way that would be helpful for membership. And the next thing you'll start to see is those will be pushed out on various media sites as well as social media sites. So those are all the things I have.
Any questions? Great. Dr. Carla Brown for Advisory Council.
All right, good evening. Pleasure to serve as the Advisory Council representative from the Western Surgical. So we met October 21st, the Saturday at the college, went over a pretty large agenda, as usually goes for the organization. I want to hit a couple of high points for the membership, patient education resources, nominations, and then clinical congress proposals. So the college is really pushing out their patient education toolkit. There's a lot of resources here that can be obtained at the surgeon level or at the hospital level, covering general surgery, bariatrics, breast cancer, surgical site infection, as well as opiate management. So a resource for surgeons in practice. So nominations through the Advisory Council, now the Vice Chair of the Advisory Council, and we manage the nominations that come through the Advisory Council. So if you're interested in nominating somebody for the Board of Regents or for the officers, obviously we have Western Surgical members all over the Board of Regents and the officer leadership of the college. But if you're interested in nominating somebody, just email me. The deadline is February 16th. We're going to meet, I think, in December to discuss the nominations. Has to be obviously a loyal member of the college, leadership qualities, serving on ACS committees, and they're going to obviously consider women, underrepresented minorities for all leadership positions. And the nomination needs to include a letter of nomination, a CV, a personal letter of support, and then a personal statement from the nominee why they're interested in the position. So that's my email there. If you don't write it down, you can find me online, obviously. So give me those nominations if you'd like to nominate somebody for these positions. So future clinical congresses, next year San Francisco, then Chicago, then DC. Last year at this meeting, I put out a call for proposals for the college for the clinical congress. The Advisory Council had 43 proposals accepted for 2024. And so either sponsored or co-sponsored the proposals. I encourage the membership. I got a handful of proposals here from the Western Surgical. I know you have other avenues to submit proposals for the Clinical Congress through the COT, Committee on Cancer, other advisory councils. I think the Advisory Council of General Surgery has a really good track record of getting stuff on the program, and the college is looking to diversify their moderators and speakers. And it's a great opportunity to put a proposal together, put yourself down as moderator, your partners down as moderator or speakers. And so I'll put a call out again in the spring when we're looking for proposals. I'd encourage you to submit something in your area of expertise. And I'll give a lot more details when I send the email out, but I think it's a great way to get on the Congress, on the program. And that's all I have. Any questions? Sherry.
Just a comment that people should note that the college is meeting at a totally different format next year. So we're used to the Sunday convocation and everything, and it's to try, we've listened to our members and get the meeting closer. So it's going to be
Saturday through Tuesday.
Saturday through Tuesday.
Yeah.
So convocation will be Saturday night, and the whole thing, so.
I don't know if they're going to front load the stuff that now happens on Saturday and Sunday. They're going to move that to Thursday, Friday, or I haven't heard that.
Everything, everybody's, I mean, this is going to be the first time, but it's a totally, so if you have in your mind that, you know, like Monday's the COT dinner and things like this, it's all going to look really different.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Thanks. Appreciate it. All those warning signs we're getting from the American College of Surgeons about security at San Francisco, is any concerns about that for the college? Yes. Should we be worried?
We've got to be really careful. So there's absolutely, they've been speaking, first of all, the college would lose millions if they were to change it, so let's be honest. There have been many, I live outside San Francisco, there have been many successful meetings that have been held in San Francisco in the last months. College has been speaking with, you know, the local police and everything, and, you know, they are very aware of what's going on and will make it as pleasant as possible.
Great, thanks. Dr. Peter Angelos couldn't be here today, but Dr. Mansour has a few words as the chair of the American Board of Surgery.
Thank you, Dr. Shoup. Dr. Angelos is on the American Board of Surgery Council. Just a couple of things from the American Board of Surgery. First is good news about the EPA's Entrusted Professional Activities, which is the new way to evaluate and get feedback to residents. It's been launched in July, and the latest report we got that approximately 86% of programs across the country are participating, and we have upwards of 25,000 evaluations to look at. So I think that the program is going strong, and I see Dr. Brazel in the back nodding. So I think a lot of this work, Dr. Brazel has really championed this, and I think the Western Surgical is well represented on the board. The second thing that I'm really thrilled about is one of our board members, Dr. Beth Sutton, was elected the president of the American College of Surgeons, and I think she is a wonderful person, surgeon, also a rural surgeon, who is going to represent surgery on a national and international level. That's my report. Thanks.
Any questions, Rash? All right, thanks. Dr. Brazel, do you want to come to the podium for the nominating committee?
President Shoup, the nominating committee met a couple weeks ago, and it is my honor to place in nomination the following people. Next year for the meeting at the Broadmoor for local arrangements chair, Carlton Barnett from Colorado, the Anschutz campus. For district representative from the Midwest, James Baffa from North Shore. Second vice president, Mark Trudy from Mayo Rochester. And first vice president, Nathalie Johnson from Legacy Health in Portland, Oregon.
I think we need a vote on this, right?
We do. Any nominations from the floor?
Any nominations from the floor? A second? All in favor? Anybody opposed? Great.
And, okay. Excellent. And for president, we would nominate Dan Margulies from Cedars-Sinai, LA.
Can I ask Dr. Jerry Jerkovich and Dr. Mark Telmonte to escort Dr. Margulies to the podium? Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
And this gavel is for you as you now assume the role as the president of the Western Surgical Association. All approve? All right. And I think anybody have any new business to add? All right, it's your turn to hit the gavel.
Well, before I do, thank you, Dr. Shoup, for this honor and the nominating committee. It's really a pleasure and honor to be nominated as your new president. And I plan to have a really super meeting next year. As I mentioned before, I really want to have the input from the younger members. So all those that are new members, please feel free to give us your ideas, speak up, encourage others to join. We want to make this your meeting, so please do feel free to speak up and really give us your ideas, as well as all the members. It's not set in stone. We can change how we do things if it's for the better. That's the first comment. And then second is I'd like to congratulate you for a job super well done. This was a great meeting, and really congratulations, you've done fantastic. And with regards to that, I'd like to present you with this presidential pin. Past presidents get this larger version of the small one we have, and it's now yours. Congratulations.
Thanks for nodding.
So I believe that concludes the business, unless anyone has any new business or anything you'd like to bring up. Hearing none, then I will close the meeting as my first act. Thank you.
Very forthright and vulnerable.